Hi, I'm Pushkraj and welcome to another episode of Project Battlefit. Today we are discussing, do I really need steroids to be ripped? A lot of people ask this question constantly and it is actually quite a disaster. Alright? Very simple and straight answer, do you need steroids to be ripped? No, you do not. What is ripped? Let's get to that point. Alright? If you're talking of being just muscular and ripped so that you can see your veins and vascularity and your muscularity through your skin, if that is ripped what you're talking about, of course you can get ripped without steroids, right? Most common example is look at the mathadis, the laborers working around you. Look at the common fishermen that are available on the streets. What steroids are they on? They are ripped, right? But then you get into this whole gym bro culture of being swole and ripped, and you see people using too many steroids and they're like, oh fuck, I do need steroids to get ripped. The thing is, even they themselves do not need steroids to get ripped. Steroids, primarily anabolic steroids, are to get stronger or bigger. Okay? Even these people, even your pro bodybuilders, do not actually rip out with steroids. They rip out with thermogenics. They rip out using things that artificially increase their BMR to make them drop subcutaneous fat. After that, they dehydrate themselves to get the skin so thin that you can see through all the way to the veins. Alright? That is ripped. All your magazine cover, fitness magazine cover models, they cannot maintain this ripped condition all year round. It's only for a short while, at the most about 15 days. Yes, are there genetic freaks who can stay ripped, look ripped all year round? Of course there are, but they are very rare. And the problem is that most people who are even on roids and on heavy doses of pharmaceuticals, who are ripped all year round, will lie about their usage of steroids and pharmaceuticals. Why? Because they want to look like they just do it effortlessly, they just do it naturally, which is not the case. Top notch people in the fucking fitness industry lie left, right and center about their roid usage and pharmaceutical usage. But very simply put, do you need roids to be ripped? No, you do not. Alright? Another question that had come in the same thing is about how big can you get and still be ripped, right? Now this is a very interesting question because it takes into account the factor of your maximum frame capacity. What is the maximum size your body frame can carry? Okay, there's a certain amount your body frame can reach, okay, without, there's some disturbance here, okay. So there's a certain amount of size that your body frame can reach without using any anabolic steroids. And at that size, it can get ripped. Okay? Beyond that, when you have to push beyond your body's natural frame size, when you want to get even bigger and even leaner, that is where you do not have an option but to use anabolic steroids and pharmaceuticals to get ripped. Alright? And this is, I'm talking of a massive size. Like a person of my height and frame, for me to be ripped above 80 kgs, like 80 kgs and ripped, I will need to be on anabolics and then rip with pharmaceuticals. Without that, won't be possible. For me to be ripped at 70 kgs, I do not need pharmaceuticals or anabolics. Okay? And that is what most people do not understand. Pro bodybuilders have to do it. That is their profession. Okay? For a common man, is the risk of even being on pharmaceuticals to get ripped worth the risk? I don't think so. Most of the deaths that happen in bodybuilding or that are credited to steroid usage are not actually by steroids. They are by the pharmaceuticals used to induce a higher BMR to lose fat. That is what mostly kills people. Not so much as the liver damage, but basically just increasing your BMR artificially till you get a heart attack. And that is what most people die of. So either ways, being ripped is not an ideal condition to be in, right? If in case you want to look ripped for a shoot, you still do not need steroids. You just do a proper leaning out cutting cycle and you're good. For bodybuilders who want to look extremely muscular and hard and ripped at the same time, then comes in the question of muscle maturity. Alright? There are a lot of steroids that will do that for you, that will give you that muscle maturity sooner. Not because it is magically going to give it to you, it's because you're going to train harder and recover faster, so that your muscle has now worked in 1 year what would generally work over 2 years. Alright? That's how you get that muscle maturity and that hardness. There are steroids that will do that, that's a fact. But ideally, just put in the work, put in the effort. Yes, it will take time, it will take effort, it will really slog you out, but at the end, it will be something that's worth it, something that does not have as much risk, and something you can do as a lifestyle and permanently. Me, for example, I rip out only once a year. I do not believe in the fact that you need to roam around ripped all the time just because you are in the fitness industry or just because you compete in sporting events. Alright? Ripping out does not carry over to performance in any way. Yes, being lean, having low body fat is great. It absolutely enhances performance. But beyond a certain point, when you start dropping that body fat level to a very low number, it takes away from your performance. Your body dehydrates faster, you get tired faster, your muscles cramp more. You cannot absorb as much impact from punches or kicks or strikes. If you're extremely low on body fat, you need some padding there. So depends on what performance and what sports you're looking at. But I don't think there's any sport in the world that actually encourages absolutely low body fat percentages. I do not consider bodybuilding a sport. It's now more like a pageant. Powerlifting is a sport, but again, in powerlifting, if you're too shredded, too ripped, your performance will get hampered. And again, as I mentioned before, beyond a certain body size, body frame, if you start piling on mass, then when you try to cut, so you can either be on a gaining cycle or a cutting cycle. If you try cutting too much, you end up losing a lot of muscle while you're cutting. Okay, which is why people use anabolics while cutting, so that they don't lose the muscle that they have gained while cutting down only the fat. Right? It's constantly chasing catabolism, constantly chasing being lean, like your local laborers and your mathadis and your fishermen. You will become very slender. Okay, you will lose a lot of muscle, and muscle is easy to lose and very tough to gain back. Fat you can gain back like this. It's very easy to gain back fat, but muscle to gain back is very, very difficult. Alright? A person who's not on any kind of anabolics, not using anything, can put on an average of about 4 kgs of muscle in a year. Yes, beginners put on way more. Okay? That is only in the first 2 or 3 years. After that, it starts tapering down. At extreme levels, at pro levels, even a half a kg increase is considered like a great achievement. Alright? That is how difficult it is to gain muscle. But fat, you can put on like 6 kgs, 7 kgs in just a month. And that is just absolute nobodies. I'm not talking of heavy hardcore eaters. Alright? So that's all I have to say about using steroids or using any pharmaceuticals to getting ripped. You tell me whether you found this episode informative. What is your perspective on getting ripped? And have you ever tried getting ripped or being completely shredded? And what has been your experience of it? Was it worth it? Was it not worth it? What do you think about it? You can reach us at Project Battlefit on YouTube, on Instagram and Facebook, and drop in your comments, drop in your queries, and I'd be happy to make an episode just for you to help you out. Thank you guys. This is Project Battlefit signing out.